Hello wonderful people, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and it's time for another Extra Nawties monthly roundup. Here we go, another load of quick EP, album and compilation reviews coming your way, and I'm covering the whole of March here in alphabetical order by way of artist or record label name, and they're all linked below, and the extra or special mentions are coming at the end. Stuff that I didn't find enough to comment on myself, but which I think others like your good self watching this video right now could and would enjoy. And as always, all bass music right here in these videos. Let's go. And kicking off this installment, we have the new EP from A Turner, Internal Beyond. Not his most exciting material, but still extremely solid, which is, I suppose, his standard. Very, very good. And yeah, it will still probably end up being one of my favourite EPs of the year, which, yeah, just shows how high his standard is. But as usual here, a real weight and presence to his sound overall, and very mechanical, and, you know, a couple of blips on the production front here and there, but mostly exceptional in that regard as well. And, you know, not many of you, I imagine, will be familiar with A Turner, but if you enjoy cheese music, you know, properly heavy, again, weighty, halftime kind of music, but with a bit more of an industrial feel to it, then yeah, you'll like this EP. Brilliant EP from Anku, incredibly detailed and textured in its production, and a nice range of styles tackled, and each track with its own kind of story to it, I would say, and a wide array of catchy moments and motifs dropped into the EP throughout as well. So yeah, just very good, and it ticks a lot of boxes and got a lot going for it. And again, I can imagine it being one of my EPs of the year come mid-December. New album from The Brig, and I have to be honest, hardly any of this, if any of it, strikes me as The Brig in full flow. And yeah, you know, some nice melodies here and there, different genres tackled and whatnot, and as always, the energy I think from him is on point, you know, very lively front to back as an album. But the heaviness for me is just lacking that Brig spark and flavour almost completely, and yeah, it's a shame, but I just don't get that good feeling from this album, well, pretty much all of it, like other material of his, you know, material of his from the past and whatnot. It feels more like a compilation than an album, which is, yeah, a good way, I think, of rounding up my thoughts here, and yeah, it's alright, but nothing more. New album from Dimension is another I'm a little bit underwhelmed by, not gonna lie. Some great vocals, and I love the tone of it. Has an album feel, which is good, and again here I think a good range of genres tackled, if you will, but just not many ideas that I'm loving here outright. You know, a couple of moments of excitement, but not much more. It has a lot to do with the production, I think, which across the board just feels a bit flat, and just the force of his sound not being quite there on this album, which does take away, I think, from the good we get. And if you compare it, for example, with an album like the Metric one from last year, and yeah, you can just hear the difference in definition of the production quite clearly. And yeah, I think that is very much what is needed on this album, on organs. So, you know, good to it and about it for sure, no denying that, but lacking in the focal points, I think. New EP from Dion is decent, probably the best project I've heard on Obsidia yet. And you might say, well, that isn't saying very much, but I think it's good to hear something that is at least listenable from start to finish, and I think we do get that here. You know, not special or anything even remotely close, but also not abrasive and one-dimensional, which is something that I think could be levelled at quite a bit from this label so far. But yeah, musicality-wise, I think really very good here. But beyond that, in the heaviness in particular, I think quite unremarkable. So yeah, overall, just fine. Crazy EP here from Felsius, which is definitely one of the most attention-grabbing projects of the month. No question, wacky ideas of all kinds, a lot of great production, and extremely unpredictable, which just makes it super exciting, I would say. And kinda like abstract art in a way, just very unconventional, very odd, and almost surreal as a kind of mesh and blend of different styles, genres, approaches, influences, all of that. You know, some parts are a lot better than others, I think, but I just love the off-the-wall approach, and a big recommendation right here for all of you. New EP from Gannon, one of the best roundtable EPs I've heard in a fair while, I'd say. The ideas are fresh and exciting, the production's got a pretty clean and refined feel to it, and it's just nice to hear music on this label with a bit of life and a bit of energy to it, I would say. You know, not stuff that just gets lost in that trudging, rhythmy structure, which is what I anyway have come to associate it with. But yeah, this one, it's got flavour, it's got life, it's got energy. I'm living for it. Another fun, quirky, bubbly EP from Hukae. A couple of really catchy moments available, but yeah, not quite as many as usual from him. Not quite as memorable and infectious overall as past EPs of his, but I think, you know, again, more than anything, that is a reflection of his standard, because this EP, I think, is still pretty fucking sick. The production's great again, the flow of his music, once more, just fantastic, you know, the rhythm of it, and the awareness of space and timing and all of that, and just super colourful, and yeah, he is one of the best and most consistent in rhythm at the moment, no doubt. New deluxe edition album compilation thingy-majiggy right here from Coven, and I actually enjoyed a fair few of these, I have to say. The ones that I'm not big on are in the minority, which I think is quite rare for a compilation of any kind, but yeah, some good ideas here. And my top picks would have to be the single, Good Enough, and then on the remix front, the VIP, Fox Stevenson, and Oliver. Number 1 D&B recommendation of the month comes from Malex. Absolutely, no doubt. Not the most complex ideas-wise, but it's just so mean, so evil, so devilish. I mean, you know, just look at the fucking artwork. You feel like you're in the image of the artwork, you know, very good at how they kind of reflect each other. But yeah, the production here, really thick, meaty, chunky, and swamp-like, actually. And yeah, just full of feeling without doing that much. So yeah, big recommend right here. New EP from Pleage is extremely fun, extremely exuberant, extremely colourful, melodic, full of energy, and produced really well for the most part, I would say. Multi-genre as well, if you're looking for a bit of variation and diversity in your collections. But yeah, kind of like the Felsius, which I talked about before, in that it's quite unpredictable and goes off in a load of random directions, but still manages to work, I would say. You know, some of the ideas I think are far better than others, again, like the Felsius, and are a bit more coherent on that front, but still one here that I think everyone has to check out as a whole collection. And yeah, I think a lot of it is great, and for me, one of the most accomplished EPs I've heard on Rushdown ever, you know, not just in a fair while, but ever. So yeah, if you haven't heard it yet, check it. New compilation from Reinelex, which is just far too long to have any kind of overall views on, I would say. You know, there's no real way of grouping these together, but my favourites, I would say, come from Famous Spear, Super Wet, and Ipsium at the moment, but it has kind of changed with each listen. But you know, some good stuff here for sure, don't get me wrong, but it's just far too long, and you know, every time I want to get through it, just the ear fatigue is real. New EP from Samplifier, and again, very much appreciate the Viking theme that he's got going on here, and the production's good, I think, more so than usual from him, which gives the heaviness and overall sound just a really good impact and force to it. But I think same kind of outlay for pretty much all the drops, you know, not loads of invention on show here, not much dynamism or newness about the ideas, I wouldn't say. It's all just kind of boom to boom to bat without really venturing or going outside of that or beyond that. You know, a couple of sparks of brilliance here and there in tracks like Harold, for example. But for me, the presentation in the heaviness here is just far too similar across the EP. Cheeky little collection here from Scream, which has just got his style stamped all over it, and showcasing, I think, a lot of what the original dubstep sound is all about. You know, bubbly, jumpy, a bit psychedelic, a bit acidic, and very deep at points as well. And if you're wanting to get into it more, the more original dubstep sound, then yeah, I recommend checking it out if you haven't already. You know, I think a couple of tracks go on for a bit too long and the ideas get a bit stale, but I think that's the vibe, you know, that's the point. And if you do like that approach and think you can get into it more, then I recommend this one right here. Debut collection from the new alias of Nick of Noisier fame, Sleepnet, and it's good, especially at the beginning, an incredibly riveting opening 3. You know, not to say that it loses its way in any way as it goes on. The standard is just ridiculous throughout, but the first 3 is it's one of the best halves of an EP that I've heard in a fair while, you know, quite a while. The production's just immaculate, and the overall presentation is incredibly vivid throughout, and the imagery of it is just insane, you know. I feel like I'm landing on the moon, like I'm approaching the afterlife, like I'm being born again, you know, all of that just melded into one. And yeah, it's a beautiful listen, a mad listen, and you know, I really could go on talking about it for quite a while. New Snails EP I was actually quite looking forward to after I heard the opener Frog Kind, which was, yeah, just quite encouraging. And then I think the other two here do carry on that vibe well, so it makes for a neat little three here, this EP, but on reflection I do think the ideas are quite ordinary and the production can get quite clunky and messy at points, so I think on all fronts, whether it be, you know, production, ideas, or structurally or conceptually, all of that I think maybe just a bit too much going on. Juicy compilation from the Spicy Boys, which is definitely one of my favourites of theirs, no doubt, no question, and yeah, especially enjoying the opening three quite a lot, and the Tronics as well. But overall, I do honestly find it great, and one of the best compilations I've heard in a while for sure. And if you enjoy your space bass, your experimental, your wonky trap, everything in between, then check out this compilation and label generally. It's just fucking fantastic. I love it, and yeah, you won't regret it. And again, one of my favourite compilations of the year so far, no doubt, no question. Check it out. One of the best Obsidia comps so far, if not the best. You know, can't really think of another one that's better than this one. But yeah, anyway, it's just amazing, I think, what clean production can do in or to make music listenable and fully unleash good drop ideas. You know, we've had them before, decent ideas, but the production just not backing them up on the whole with this label. So yeah, it's good to hear. Enjoying the Rovlo, Blood Vision and Brunch Beats and Tape B and Dino Shadix and Carbon near the end, and a couple of other pretty decent ones here and there as well. So yeah, quite a few that are quite good. And this one, I think, has definitely become my favourite series from them, Dusk, which is, for me, far out in front of Dawn and Night at the moment. But movements being made. And finally, more hyper-mechanical, rhythmy goodness here from Veer. And his style, I just can't get enough of it. I think he's got everything on lock, from his flow to the energy, the range of sounds, the awareness of space as well. And the production, you know, I think a couple of mishaps here in comparison to usual from him, but still, overall, on the whole, brilliant. And the ideas here, never doing too much or going overboard when they have done before from him, just keeping it quite neat here, quite contained, which is good. And I think, you know, maybe not quite as catchy as well as usual from him, but it does keep your attention for the whole thing, which is very commendable and just a sign of how good his music is. So yeah, here, another top job. But there we have it, the March 2021 edition of the Extra Nawties monthly roundup. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. But yeah, here we go, special or extra mentions. Going to put them up on the screen here for you all to see. Yeah, if you want to note them down, take a screenshot, whatever. I'm going to be leaving them up here for a few seconds if you want to remember them. And yeah, just note them down so you can hear them later. Yep, but with regards to what I reviewed in this video, which ones did you enjoy, which others not so much? Are there any that I missed out? Let me know in the comments below. Beyond that, keep it naughty. If it's naughty, then you know, and I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace!